My good people, come on. Speak Life Wednesday. My name is Art Berlanga. They call me Coach B. Hear me well in this day, for I bring you good news. Trying times. Trying times. From all the noise and the chaos, all the distractions that surround us every day. From the pandemic to the political and social climate, and there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. And what's supposed to be a new year doesn't feel very new. It doesn't feel very new, does it? You see, as I look at my life experiences within education and sports, I've learned that there's not much of a difference between young people and adults. Because the truth of the matter is that we all are going through something. We all are going through something. And especially during such a time of great confusion and pain. A time of mass fear and division. A time of neighbor turning on neighbor instead of neighbors turning to one another. Hear me well in this day. I bring you good news. Archie Williams. Archie Williams was sentenced to 80 years to life in prison. He was falsely accused. He served 37 years in prison before he was released on new DNA evidence that freed him. So what did he do when he was released? He auditioned for America's Got Talent. He had this passion and desire to sing, a joy and love that he had for singing. So not only did he make it past auditions, but he made it to the big stage. And he performed, and he sang well, and he got a standing ovation. He went from a prison cell to America's stage. Come on. Shout out to Archie Williams. What comes to mind is persistence. Regardless of what's going on in our world today, regardless of what your circumstances are, because Archie just proved that circumstances don't define us. He said in an interview, he was asked, how did you get through that? How did you get through that? He says, freedom is of the mind. I may have been in prison, but my mind never went to prison. Come on. Come on. Perspective, man. Perspective. You see, persistence in what you want is a necessity. Without persistence, there are no goals. Without persistence, there are no success stories. There ain't no underdogs. They ain't inspiration. The people that we love and fell in love with and their stories, they don't exist because they would quit after the first or two failures. They would quit when they got discouraged. They would quit when people from the outside looking in told them they weren't good enough or they didn't have what it took and they weren't capable of doing these things. But they believed in themselves, just as Archie did. Come on. Come on. Babe Ruth is remembered as one of the greatest hitters of all time. Yet, he struck out 1,330 times, which nobody talks about. He even had the nickname, the Strikeout King. The Strikeout King. Man, Colonel Sanders is another example. At 65 years old, 65, went around knocking on doors, trying to sell his chicken. He knocked on over 1,000 doors before he got his first order of KFC chicken. Come on. Persistence, man. So whatever it is that you want in your life, just know, nothing of worth, nothing of value ever does come easy. It doesn't. And if you stumble or fall along the way, don't you worry. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. It's what makes your story your story. In the great words of the philosopher Confucius, our greatest glory is not never falling, but rising every time we do fall. Come on. Speak Life Wednesday, Coach B.